Good morning, LMCC. It is so good to be with you this morning. We are in week 2 of talking about Joshua and Jericho. Last week, I left you with 4 questions to really think about. And this week, we're going to take the time to answer those questions, to dive into the story a little bit more deeper. Before we jump into anything, I want to pray with you. So let's pray. God, thank you so much for allowing us to come together, even if it's just through the digital way. We know that you are still here. We know that you are still talking. And so I pray that you give us eyes to see and ears to hear you, God. We pray this in your Son's holy name. Amen. Okay, let's jump right into it. Joshua and Jericho. Here we go.
Mountains and the sea, your river runs with love for me, and I will open up my heart and let the Spirit set me free. I'm happy to be in the truth, and I will daily lift my hands, for I will always sing of when your love came down. I could sing of your love forever. 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 Over the mountains and the sea, your river runs with love for me, and I will open up my heart and let the Spirit set me free. I'm happy to be in the truth, and I will daily lift my hands, for I will always sing of when your love came down. I could sing of your love forever. 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 And oh, I feel like dancing. It's foolishness, I know. When the world has seen the light, they will dance with joy like we're dancing now. I could sing of your love forever. 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 I could sing of your love forever.
Joshua and Jericho.
Remember the promises God made to Abraham?
Your kids will become a great nation. They will have their own land, and from your family will come a blessing for the whole world.
It had been nearly 500 years since God had made those promises, and only the first one had come true. Sort of. Abraham's family had grown to be a nation, the Israelites, but they still didn't have their own land, and the
blessing for the whole world
was still unclear. The Israelites had disobeyed God time and time again, so God put them in time out until they were ready to obey Him. Now, Israel's long time out was finally over, and it was time to enter the Promised Land once again. Moses, their leader, gave a long speech reminding the Israelite kids who were now grown-ups, of everything God had done for them and all the laws he had given them. Everyone said,
"Yes, we're going to trust God for sure this time."
And then Moses walked up on top of a mountain and died. Yep, he died. He got to see the promised land from the top of the mountain, but because he had disobeyed God too, he never got to go in. Instead, God chose Joshua to be Israel's new leader. Joshua was a man who trusted God. So Joshua led all the Israelites across the Jordan River and into Canaan, the promised land. Of course, they weren't alone in Canaan. Just as soon as they crossed the river, they ran into a city, a pretty big one. It was called Jericho, and it had big, strong walls and big, strong people who did not want the Israelites moving into Canaan. Joshua knew God was giving them this land, but the people of Jericho didn't care about Israel's God. They were ready to fight the Israelites to stop them from going any further. The people of Jericho were going to stay in Canaan, and as long as they were safe behind their big, strong walls, there was nothing the Israelites could do about it. Then God gave Joshua some very strange instructions.
March around the city one time each day for 6 days.
God said,
On the seventh day, march around the city 7 times. And have your priests blow horns. When the horns blow, have everyone yell, and the walls of the city will fall down.
Well, that's weird.
Joshua must have thought.
March around the city for 6 days, then blow horns and yell, and these big, strong walls would just fall down because we yelled at them?
Joshua trusted God, but did he trust God this much? What if he had Israel follow God's instructions and nothing happened? They'd all be pretty mad at Joshua. They probably wouldn't want him to be their leader anymore. They might even want to kill him if the people of Jericho didn't kill him first. What should Joshua do? What would you do? Joshua remembered how God had saved the Israelites, including him, from slavery in Egypt. He was there when God fed them in the desert. Plus, God had told Joshua that he had already given Jericho to him. Doubt God? Not Joshua. He had confidence in his big, strong God. Joshua led the Israelites as they marched around Jericho for 6 days. On the 7th day, he had them blow horns and yell, just like God said, and the walls fell down. The Israelites got to enter the promised land, and Joshua added this story to all the stories of an amazing God who could be trusted, no matter what.
Hey everyone, it's time for Let's Explore. Today, we're going to be working on the walls of Jericho. So get out your paper, some scissors, your crayons, and a stick of glue. Today, Mila's going to help us by showing us how it's done so you can follow along with us at your home. You can start by cutting out all the pieces, or first coloring them and then cutting them out. Amelia chose to cut them out first and then color them, but you can do it however you like. As you're working on your walls of Jericho, imagine what it would be like to stand on the walls or to walk around them 7 times. Do you think it would be hot? Do you think your feet would get tired? Do you think you might get bored by walking around in a circle? Once you've got all your pieces cut out and all your pieces colored, the next step is to fold them into place. Fold the white box underneath the picture cutout so that the walls and the people will stand upright. After you've got all the pieces folded into place, then you need to glue them. Take the smaller walls that are going to be the sides, add some glue in the white box, and gently press it into place. Remember to let the glue on your walls dry before playing with it, or the walls might come tumbling down a little too soon. Finally, set the Israelites out, marching in front of the walls. And that's it. You did it. That's how you build the walls of Jericho.
So now that we've been reminded of what the story is all about, I want to dig into the 4 questions that I posed to you last Sunday. The first question was, how did Joshua get past the walls and into the city of Jericho? And I had you close your eyes. Remember, I told you, close your eyes and think about this. If you had to get into a city that had really tall walls, what would be going through your head? You would probably thinking, oh, I need to go over the walls, or I need to go under the walls, I need to go through the walls, I need to do something to the walls in order to get past them. But we see here in this story that God has a very different plan. He doesn't tell Joshua to go over or under or through. What he tells Joshua to do is to walk around the walls for 7 days, and on the 7th day to walk around 7 times. And he even gives them the specific instruction of not making any noise except for these horns blowing. And Joshua tells his people, I will tell you when to shout out with a war cry. Don't do it until I tell you to do it. Until God tells me to tell you to do it. You see, what Joshua says is that we're going to walk around these walls in order to get them to fall down. That's what God told them to do. And it seems kind of weird. Walk around the walls and they'll fall? And then there was another instruction that God gave them. And this has to do with the second question I asked you last week. What is the Ark of the Covenant? Because you see, God said, not only are you going to walk around these walls, but you're going to carry the Ark of the Covenant with you as you walk around these walls. What is the Ark? What is this thing that they have to carry around the walls? Well, you see, the Ark of the Covenant is this wooden chest. Almost imagine it to be this toy box, like a wooden toy box. It's about the size of a toy box you would see in a bedroom. And what this Ark held was the 10 Commandments and some other really important things to the Israelites. But what the Ark represented was God's presence. You see, the Ark was equaled God's presence. And so when they carried the Ark around the walls, what they were doing is that they were saying, God is in the middle of this. We're going to walk around the walls because God is in the middle of this plan. We're not going to go over. We're not going to go under. We're not going to go through. We're just going to walk around and believe that if we put God in the middle of this, He is going to keep His promise to us. And these first 2 questions lead nicely into the last 2 questions I asked you last week. The third question was, well, what do we learn about God from this story? And then also, how should we be more like Joshua in this story? The idea of walking around something with God in the middle tells us a lot about who God is and who we should be. Because first we understand that God is someone who wants us to be his partners. You see, God could have told the walls, come down. And the walls could have come down like that. But instead, what God does is he tells Joshua, I want you to be a part of this plan. I want you to walk around. And then I'll do my job. I'll do my part. But you have a job in this too. So see, God doesn't want to do these things by himself. He wants to do them with us. But we have to be like Joshua. We have to trust God, even when it seems crazy what he's asking us to do. I could only imagine what Joshua was thinking. Walk around the walls? How is that going to make the walls fall down? But you see, Joshua had to fight what was going on in his head and instead believe that what God was saying was true. And that if he obeyed God, God would come through. We have to trust God. And one of the big ways I'm sure Joshua did that was by remembering all the stories that his parents and his grandparents had told him about God. Because remember, Joshua's coming from Egypt with Moses. Joshua saw the Red Sea part. Joshua saw manna fall from the sky. These are the stories that Joshua was holding on to when God tells him, walk around the walls and they'll come down. And so we need to remember that. We need to remember that in order to do what God is asking us to do, it starts with trusting him. And in order to trust him, we have to remember. We have to remember that he is a good God. And to help give you just another story that you can remember, I have someone special who's going to tell you what Joshua's faith and trust has looked like in their life. So let's listen up.
Hi guys, it's Claire Bernardo here, your storyteller from church. How are you guys? I miss all of you so much, and I'm very excited to see you guys again one day. So recently, you guys have been listening to the story of Joshua and how he led the Israelites to Jericho. God gave them some pretty weird instructions, didn't he? March around the city for 6 days. And on the 7th day, march around the city 7 times. It's a lot of marching. Can you guys imagine walking around New York City for 7 times? That's so much walking. Sometimes God gives us some pretty weird instructions, but he only gives us these instructions because he loves us and he knows what's best for us. Of course, Joshua was a little iffy about marching around the city so much, wasn't he? Why wouldn't Joshua just climb over the walls and go straight into the city? Why march for 7 whole days? When God gives us hard instructions in our lives, it can be difficult for us to follow them. But no matter what, it's important that we follow his instructions anyway. One time in my life, I had a hard time following God's instructions too, just like Joshua. I was filled with doubt that God's purpose for me wasn't the best idea. But of course, I was wrong, and God was right. God was right when instructing me, and even though I questioned God at first, I listened to God and I trusted him. So I first moved to New York City to go to school. Just like you guys, I went to school in New York City, had to go every day. I had teachers and so many classes. And as we all know, school can be really hard. It can be so hard. Sometimes you just don't like going to school, and that's okay. And back when I first moved to New York City, I struggled a lot with going to school. I questioned God on whether or not New York City was really the city for me. In order to get some guidance, I prayed to God about the difficulties I was going through, when the entire time I just wanted to move away from New York City. I didn't want to be in the city anymore, and I wanted to move to a different part of the world. But God didn't necessarily want that for me. By praying to Him, I began to put more trust in God. I trusted God's purpose for me, which was to stay in New York City and finish my schoolwork here. By putting God in the middle of my problems, I was able to overcome self-doubt and a long year of struggling to live in New York City. It's crazy to think that if I hadn't prayed to God, I might have moved really far away and I would have never met you guys. I trusted God to come through because I know that He has a very clear purpose for me and He has a very clear purpose for you too. If I decided to do my own thing instead of what God wanted for me, who knows where I would be now? I'm happy I trusted Him. I'm happy I prayed to Him about my problems, even when I was overcome with doubt. Sometimes in your life, you're going to experience a lot of difficulty or discomfort, and you might question what God has set in stone for you, just like Joshua when he was marching around the city of Jericho. In times like these, it's so important that you pray to God because He has a very clear purpose and a very clear, direct path for you.
Peace that surpasses all understanding, hope that'll never fade away. Praise with the morning, singing and dancing, a heart of joy all through the day. Your love surrounds me, it's all round, round, round. Your love has taken me just as I am. Your love surrounds me, it's all round, round, round. Your love has taken me just as I am. Coming before you, shouts of thanksgiving. Only you have made me new. Praise with the morning, singing and dancing, opening my eyes to you. Your love surrounds me, it's all round, round, round. Your love has taken me just as I am. Your love surrounds me, it's all round, round, round. Your love has taken me just as I am, as I am, as I am. You take me just as I am. When I am right, when I am wrong, when I am weak, when I am strong, whenever I look to you, you take me just as I am. When I am right, when I am wrong, when I am weak, when I am strong, whenever I look to you, you take me just as I am. When I am right, when I am wrong, when I am weak, when I am strong, whenever I look to you, you take me just as I am. Your love surrounds me, it's all round, round, round. Your love has taken me just as I am. Your love surrounds me, it's all round, round, round. Your love has taken me just as I am, as I am, as I am. You take me just as I am, as I am, as I am. to you, you take me just as I am. As I am, as I am. Whenever I look to you, you take me just as I am.
It was so good being with you this morning, and even more than that, it was so good to really dig into the story of Joshua. But don't let the conversation stop here. Continue to go to God and ask Him what He's trying to tell you through Joshua and the walls of Jericho. Ask Him what He wants you to hear from this story. And next week, we'll be jumping into a different story. A different story, but with a very similar message. It's the story of Ruth. I look forward to being with you next week, even if it's through virtual church. And if you're interested in coming to church, talk to your parents about signing up for next Sunday online. I miss you guys so much, and I love you. Bye.